Finally, it is here. It's ready. TGXTRACT. So this is, I would say, the go-to tool for any Telegram-focused investigations. So after months of development and testing, we finally have it ready, and you can download and install it today and, well, really give it a go. So, TGXTRACT. As everyone knows from my previous video, we developed a tool called VK-extract, and TG-extract is essentially building on that concept. So it is an extractor. So you have a case and it involves Telegram, or it's focused on Telegram, then you can use TG-extract to get the data, review it, enrich it, find more leads, and then report on it. It is as simple as that, really. So here we see the case area for TG-extract. So this is not the starting point. The starting point is, well, you need Telegram credentials. Preferably a lot of them. The more, the better, I would say. 3 Telegram credentials, that's going to maintain a nice steady flow of extraction capabilities. If you have 5 or more, then you're actually going to find that it's speeding up the extraction process, and that is the key thing. That's why we've built TG-extract. So it is a way to avoid the credential cooldowns. So if you've been scraping quite a lot within a very short period of time, Telegram is going to put you on hold, cool down for a bit. So we're avoiding that because it will scrape a few batches and then it will cool off, and then the other credential will come in and pick up from where it left off. But 5 or more credentials, you're going to find actually it's going to start scraping and extracting data a lot more faster. So that is the key thing. And especially if you are dealing with quite a dynamic case where you're dealing with a Telegram channel or group, and there's quite a lot of content on there, and you've forever got it in your mind, oh, what if Telegram, closed down this channel or group? Well, it's a bit of a safeguard in the sense that this tool will give you that ability to extract as much data as fast as possible. So the starting point is the credentials. So whether it is a physical SIM, these disposable ones, but eSIMs is also a good shout. And here is where you put in your APIs, and you quite simply add a Telegram channel. You put in the details there, so the telephone number of the eSIM. You also need to register for an API, an official Telegram API. And there are plenty of online resources that will tell you how to do that. At the same time, you can ask ChatGPT and it will give you a step-by-step guide. We will look to make some instructional videos to go with TG-extract, but a little bit pressed for time at the moment. But there are resources out there that will explain what you need to do. But essentially, you just add your credentials here, verify them, and then it will tell you if it's authorized and whether it can collect. And this is the overview for that. So that is the starting point. So what next? Well, what we've built into TG-extract are a whole range of open source tools. So username checks, which is quite a popular one. So we've got Linkhook, Migrate, Sherlock, Nextfill, What's My Name. So a shout out going out to the developers behind those tools. So we took them off GitHub, but we put them into here, and by default, all of the add-ons are turned off. So you have to go in and enable them. So if I go to here, maybe, let's see if there are any which need, no, there isn't. So that's fine, I can disable one and I can enable it like so. It is quite simply a case of just clicking a button, that's all it is. But there's a lot of good tools that have been built into this, and you can just quite simply enable them. And that's it, really. So what else we have? So we have the OSINTERSECT database. So our database with a lot of historical Telegram data that's been scraped over time since around, I would say, 2022, quite a lot. So several million files, I would say, in total. And that also includes the historical location data that was enabled through the people nearby me function, which sadly Telegram turned off. But that data, even though it's historical, it's still relevant. So that is in the OSINTERSECT DB. So what that allows you to do is, if you've got a user ID or username of interest in the dataset that you've extracted, then you'd be able to right click and through the API query the OSINTERSECT DB, and if there are any matches, it's going to give you whatever there is associated to that user ID or username. That could include location data, but it will include member lists. What we're not extracting are messages. So literally we're going through member lists of a lot of groups, and that's combined with the historical data set. And it's got a good enrichment value at the very least. So here the workflow is that you would enable the different add-ons and data packs, which also includes a gazetteer. So where there are text-based location names, that will try to convert it over to latitude, longitude, and essentially just put a dot on the map for you so you can get a geo visualization of any place names. So quite useful. So next, you've got the Telegram credentials, you've got the add-ins. What do you need to do? So one of the things that you can use here is the quick lookup. So if you've got a user ID or a username, or even a telephone number, in fact, you can put it into here and you can run the lookup. And if you're in law enforcement or working in an official capacity, you can get access to the OSINTERSECT database. It's free, but it's restricted as to who can use it. And you can do a quick lookup through that method. Alternatively, you can just use the Telegram API, but there's a caution with that. Telegram are getting quite sensitive in terms of using the add to contacts method. And I have found through testing with this is that actually you are running the risk of your account getting frozen. So again, SIMs, eSIMs, the more burners you have, the better, really. You've got that backup. Alternatively, you have a case. Okay, so you might be investigating Russian disinformation, a whole range of other things, so that is the focus of your investigation, and it has led you to several Telegram channels and groups. So what we want to do is we want to create a case to that effect. We create the case right here, give it a name, specify an overview or purpose for that matter. So we'll keep it nice and simple. I'm going to create a case right here, and this is where you need to add at least a target. So Telegram channel or Telegram group or multiple ones to that effect. And that's what I'm going to do now. So just added in one. It's quite a small group, so that's quite good for the purpose of this video anyway. And we can add in more, one per line, nice and easy. And we go on to the extraction plan. So this is where we're giving the users the option, because it may be the case where you may not need 100% of everything. You might only be interested in the member list, or you might only be interested in the media or the messages, the posts, things like that. So we're giving you the options. Having said that, the comprehensive extraction, especially if you've got more than 5 credentials loaded into TGXTRACT, it's going to be fast. So you may decide that I'll just go with everything anyway, and that's fine. And we'll click on next. Telegram channels and groups, they can be very media heavy. I mean, we're probably looking at hundreds of thousands of images, same for videos. The computer that you're using this on, and TGXTRACT is running locally, I should add. So you install it as an executable and it just pops up in the browser, but it's all local to your machine. Again, you might not have the storage space to be able to save everything that's being extracted. That's not a problem. Here you could specify an external or removable drive. So that will save the media in an external location. And it doesn't affect the chain of custody of the artifacts which are being extracted. So that is the key point. In this case, because it is quite a small group, we can keep it inside of the machine. So that's not a problem. And we'll click on next. We can do a quick review and then create the case. And there it is. So that's ready to go. Now, if you're dealing with a channel or group that requires for you to subscribe or become a member in order to view the contents, not a problem. In the extraction settings, you can opt to join and then leave for all of your credentials. Now, granted, that might be risky, but really it's the only way. Unless you actually go to Telegram and request a return, a data return, and you're probably not going to get that much anyway. But with this join and leave function, you will join the group or the channel, get what you need, and then automatically leave it. So it is an option right there. Since this is an open group, no problem. We're going to start the job. And straight away, using 3 credentials, as I've got loaded up here, it's already going through target metadata, and now it's getting the profile media. And that is quite a special thing. So what's happening is that the APIs are going through the member list in the case of a group, or it is cycling through the comments in the case of a channel. Because to comment on a post inside of a channel, you have to be subscribed to that channel. So in a sense, it's kind of a member list for channels anyway. Either way, it's cycling through that. It's getting the public user information. So if they have a username, it's going to grab that. If they have a display name that's public, it's going to extract that, and as well as for telephone numbers, for bios, also as well the profile media. So basically the profile image or the profile video. Since in Telegram, a user profile has essentially a gallery for that user. So a user can upload multiple profile pictures, same for short video clips as well, animated images, and TGXTRACT is getting all of that if it is available. So now it's going through the encountered users. What that is doing is that it is looking through the entire wall post, and it is finding Telegram users that have joined and then have left. So it's getting all of that data and is aggregating it together. And what you're going to see very shortly is a single unified view for all of that. So you're going to be able to see all of the users in one place, as well as their associated activity on that channel and group, and whatever's publicly available, publicly open, publicly visible. If it's a telephone number, it will be there. Profile media, display name, etc., etc. So on the encountered users, it's having to go from the very start of the wall down to the very bottom. And then with the media downloads, it's doing it as well. So this could be somewhat of a time-consuming stage of the extraction process. But as I said, the more credentials you have, the faster it becomes. And truly, it can get very, very fast. So we're just going to leave that for now and let that finish through that final part. And so there it is. So it's now completed that entire extraction process. So it's gotten everything that it can get. Next thing, what's the workflow here? Well, you could have more targets, other Telegram channels or groups if you have them. Otherwise, it's a case of going in and taking a look at review. So off to the left hand side, we click on review, we got a target review, case wide review. So there's a difference. If you've got multiple channels and groups and you want to see all of the data relating to all of those channels and groups in one place, you would use the case wide review. In our scenario, we've only got the one, so we're going to stay with the target review, and we can open it up like so. The first page gives you a lot of the metrics, you know, the frequency of activity, how much media, how many users, and so on. And what you see off to the left-hand side the different views that you can have. So if you are interested in the messages, you can go to the messages here. You can filter down on them in many different ways. You can do your text searching, etc. And in the case where it is a topic-based groups, then you can just click on the necessary topics and it'll take you straight to that anyway. Now, since this is focused on Telegram, most likely your focus is going to be on the users. So as I said, TGXTRACT is going to get everything that is publicly available. And this is the results right here. So you've got different ways in which you can take a look at the user information. You can go to the profile images, you can take a look at their chat history, and also any checks. And this is that enrichment from the add-ons we saw earlier. So here you can essentially discover more leads by initiating one or several of these tools. It's as simple as that, really. Stickers, I have to say this, and a huge thank you goes to Valdemar Baller from Darksight Analytics, because he's created TG Spider command line tool. It's if you're not using it, you haven't tried it, try it today as well. It's great. It's great for the command line. So what is even better is that Darksight have implemented essentially a way for you to analyze sticker packs. And that is quite important as well, since you find on a lot of channels and groups, stickers are being sent around all over the place, and some of them can contain some leads. So thanks to Valdemar, we've added the ability to analyze the sticker packs, and that is quite a big thing. And as you see, there's a lot of other different views as well, URLs, forwards, text intelligence, very self-explanatory by this point. And I think that, you know, without having to show absolutely everything, just go ahead and give it a go. Try it out, download and install it, and see how you get on. Just to very quickly show to you as well, we have the canvas. You can create multiple different canvases. So the canvas is a link chart, but we're calling it canvas because we need to distinguish between the report link chart and the intelligence link chart. So canvas deals with the intelligence side of things. So you can add different nodes, whether it is Telegram users or user IDs, usernames, or even telephone numbers for that matter, simply by adding them on. And this is where you can look at the relationship between different users. And if you are in law enforcement and you've gotten access to the OSINTERSECT DB, you can query it like so. So you can run a check, and if there are any results, it's going to present it like so. So it is quite a nice tool, I have to admit. And also as well, you can run the username checks. So what that means is when I click on it, that's now going to do the enrichment through the username search tools that are built into this and that have been enabled by this point. So as you see, it's nicely created it onto the canvas, and it'll continue to update until it's gotten everything that it can actually get. So it's quite dynamic, and we've kept it that way. And you can just select on a node, and off to the right hand side, it's going to give you whatever information that it has related to that. So just be aware the canvas, it auto updates and it repositions. So sometimes it's probably better just to let it settle and then go in and review the leads that are there basically. Key point, you can have as many canvases as you want. So you can have autosave enabled, and you can open up a new one and then, you know, do the same thing for another user, whatever your workflow is. Everyone is different in that sense. So we have the data, we've identified several users, some of which have telephone numbers, some don't. After review, we find that some users are relevant to the case. So what are we going to do about that? Well, this is where we can right click and we can create a new report and add the evidence like so. But also as well, if you're working on dual screen, you can drag and drop from the review area, which is here. So you can drag and drop onto the actual report, as you see right there. So the report opens up in a new tab, And if I add another user right here, so add to the current report, that's been added, and I click on report here, you can see the report is there, and I can create a new one. I can create multiple ones. There's actually no limit. So here I have the user, and as you see, we're getting really options. So what the TGXTRACT report is showing here is saying that, okay, you've added a user, but this user has 6 profile images and several messages. If there are comments or replies to messages, they will be there as well. And what you can do is that you can add individual items as evidence, like so. Alternatively, you've got this option to add shown as evidence, and that's going to basically add everything that's associated to that user all into the report. And you can also do it the same with any other users as well. So as I said, it is very good in that sense. You can add as much as you want. Same for profile media, same for general media messages, etc. So you could just add them all, and that's it. Really, you're building your case. So one of the key things as well, investigator comments. So what that means is that where we have an item, we can add an investigator comment, and it's protected. Cannot be altered in any way. That's added to the report, and that's it. So again, you build your report in this way. You can add text items, add page breaks, add, edit the cover page, everything like that. But as you've seen as well, we are building a link chart at the same time. So there is a report link chart which is being built in the background. So again, you can just click and it's showing you what the evidence is. So what is directly associated to that user or to that message or profile media, whatever it may be. So the key point is you create your evidence pack inside of here, and then you would click on create package, choose the contents, and it will ask you if you want to also export the link chart so that it can be viewed offline. So you can export it and hand it over to someone else and they can just open it up. That's totally possible. And here you get the option to create a HTML case pack or create it in PDF. So if I click on create HTML, that's now doing its thing, and that's now been downloaded into my downloads folder on Windows. So here we have the report. Right click and extract all. So that's going to extract it into its own folder. And here, very simply, we just open up the report in HTML or PDF. There it is. There is everything. And we can open up the link chart, and same as inside of the app as well. We can move the nodes around and we can see the evidence when we click on it. And I would say the very, very last thing to show and to say to you is that even the cases themselves can be exported. So you can export this TGXTRACT case, hand it over to someone else, and they can just import it on their side, and they would see all of the data, the users, the profile media, everything will be there. It does not export the credentials for obvious reasons. So that is also an option if you want to use a separate machine to extract and then to review offline somewhere else. Of course, that is an option for you. So that is TGXTRACT. There's a lot more that I can show you. Granted, very pushed for time. We'll look to get some instructional videos out. Also as well, right now it's on Windows, so you install it as an executable. Have got a Linux version on the way. Won't take too long. So I would say, look, I'm just going to stop it there. Download, install, get some sims, and give it a go. And if you are in law enforcement or working in an official capacity, let me know about the OSINTERSECT database and I can give you an API key and you'll be able to use it as well. So thank you, give it a go. If you break it, let me know, and hopefully this is a tool that you're going to use quite well. So thank you, and see you soon.